us.
One last thing on Lake Up, TK podcast, of course, The Athletic. A lot of people were asking about the trade deadline, right? And we had this conversation the first month of the season. I said, let's see where the Warriors are at around mid-January before we start trading everybody. Let's see where they're at. Right now, they're humming. All right, I get it. They're one game above 500. But you look at the Western Conference, it's all muddled. Clippers did not look good last night. Pelicans have injuries. The Suns have injuries. The West is a mess, which helps to go to State Warriors. Who's going to beat the Warriors in the West? I bet my bottom dollar on anybody not beating the West or beating the Warriors in 4 games, or 4 out of 7 games. So Lake Up talked about the possibility.
You're saying that now.
I've said that all season. I said that all season with the Golden State Warriors. Nobody in the West is going to beat them 4 times if they're healthy.
Well, that's a big if. I'm just saying that's a big if. I mean, they've been injured a lot this year, so that's
everybody's
a big
been
if.
injured. Everybody's been. They were injured last year. But Joe Lacob talked about the possibility of being active at the trade deadline. Here's what Joe had to say about that.
I'm not going to sit here and say that we wouldn't do anything. I do think our roster is really good. I'm more of the optimist in that regard and more positive than some of the people I read with the things they say, because frankly, they're all prisoners of the moment. I'm more concerned with how we're playing at the end of the year. You know, Steve's done a great job of managing things. Look at this amount of injuries we have all of a sudden. Andrew Wiggins has missed, 14 games, 15 games? Steph out, and we're turning it around and playing well. So I think we have a lot of talent, but if we can find a way to improve ourselves, we would always look to do that.
And he said entering the season, he felt really good about this roster. Really good.
I had very high expectations for this year. Probably a lot of our fan base did too. I thought we had, honestly, the best roster from a talent and depth of talent perspective that we have ever had. Let that sink in. Depth of talent. In other words, all the way through the roster, I think we were talented. Doesn't mean experienced. Doesn't mean, that they're going to play together well. Doesn't mean you are going to have a punch could interfere with things or variety of things. But I'm just saying depth of talent. Everybody on that roster was pretty talented, although some very young, clearly. And I had high expectations that by the end of the year, and that's the way I look at it, that we would be a very formidable team.
Very interesting.
I was with him at the beginning of the year. I heard you and Mully talking about it. Like, I did think heading into the year, and maybe I overestimated it. Like, I did think they had the most talent. This could be the most talented team that they've ever had. Right. In terms of talent, and it's got to gel, and does it work and everything. And heck, we even, I like I said, Mully was saying hey, I think that their bench could be a playoff team in the West.
Take away the core.
Yes.
That other bunch with Kuminga, Wiseman, Poole, JaMychal Green, DiVincenzo could win 40 games in the West.
So I don't know if I'm necessarily subscribed to that currently, but I will say that they're starting to round into form. They're looking a lot better. I might have overrated the young players being ready to contribute a little too soon.
Maybe underrated their lack of experience.
I just think they have a long way to go. Yeah. I think I thought it would be a little easier in terms of a transition. See a little more oomph.
Right.
I thought Moody would do a lot more this year. He hasn't. I was hoping Wiseman would be a little more successful and obviously available more. I thought JaMychal Green was going to be more of a contributor on a consistent basis. Right. And then, I thought that Wiggins would be healthy. And I thought that, because he's been an Iron Man for this team. You obviously can't predict the injuries, but him not being out there is really... It's hurt them. He's an important player. As much as we know Steph's important. And Wiggins is really, 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 really important.
Yes, and yet they're 6-4 without Steph and Curry.
I know. They've been
They stabilized this season. They've treaded water. And now the Warriors take on the Orlando Magic tomorrow for a chance to move 2 games above 500. And then they take on the Suns on Tuesday. They could improve to 7-1 on this homestand. What if they get 7-1 on this 8-game homestand? Despite all the turnovers from Jordan Poole, despite Draymond Green picking up technicals, a lot of people feeling good about the Golden State Warriors right now.